Hey everybody, I want to talk today about a framework that we call the deal triangle. and I don't think this is rocket science. I don't think this is anything that most people can't just kind of intuitively understand, but I find that frameworks are really helpful when we're thinking through how to get access to bigger deals, how to grow up and move up market as opposed to doing more and more of the same deals. That's what I really love about real estate in general, is that you have this ability to kind of move from level to level to level, and you can move up. And as I like to say, real estate is a team sport. Everything comes down to, as you move up market, it's about playing with the right people. And so this is a framework that we talk a lot about inside the club, and it's something we're going to be talking about at our spring event. And I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. So when I refer to the deal triangle, that we're all aware of what that means and what the different sides are. So first, you've got deal finders, and I'll just go through these three sides. You've got people, you got to find the deal, you've got to fund the deal, and somebody's got to operate and execute on that deal. Now, whether that's a fix and flip, that's a development, that's a multifamily, or it's a self-storage facility, I mean, it doesn't matter. Every deal comes down to there's always three sides. Sometimes the sides are bigger than the other, right? It's kind of, it moves and it shifts based on the nature of the particular deal. But there's three very distinct sides, and what I find is that you do not have to be good at all three of these. Of course, as you get more experience and you move up, for example, with my case in development, we've learned how to find these deals. I've learned how to fund them, and now I'm learning how to operate them. And I know how to do the certain types of deals that I do, which are pop tops and small duplex developments and things like this. But you put me into a really large townhome project, or let's say a big apartment building or something like this, and I would need other people with other expertise in these different areas. And so I think the key here is to one, know where your lane is, understand that this is a relationship game as you move into bigger and bigger projects. And there's really, like I said, these three sides. So first, let's talk about the deal finder. So when I think about the who's there, these are wholesalers, they're agents, salespeople, brokers, oftentimes marketers, business development, things like that. And of course, there's all sorts of hows. There's door knocking, direct to seller. There's pay-per-click ads. There's all sorts of ways that people find deals. Of course, relationships, networking. That's a big part of it. And I don't care what deal it is. You got to find and vet good deals. And so that skill set is something really worth getting good at. And if you are really good at that, you can find operators, you can find investors to collaborate with to put these larger opportunities together. So deal finders being the first one. Second would be the investors. So you have to have equity, you have to have debt. Oftentimes you have to have somebody that can sign on that loan, that's got enough net worth and liquidity to be able to sign it. So as I've found, like, I started moving into development deals, the first deal I ever did, the first question a bank's going to ask you is, how many of these have you done, right? So you almost always need somebody to help sign on that debt, or has the experience to pull you in that. If you're moving into larger projects, oftentimes there's capital that you have to raise, so you're raising equity. So again, that side is extremely important, and the who's there are oftentimes capital raisers, they're bankers, hard money lenders, private money lenders. You're going to want to know these types of people, right? And you're going to need them in these larger deals. Of course, there's the hows, so things like learning how to raise capital and how to structure deals and debt, and these layers of, and oftentimes, again, I know people that are running funds and they have limited partners and general partners, and you've got to learn how to structure that. How you become bankable to actually get this debt. It's all really important stuff. And at the beginning, again, as you move up, you might specialize in maybe deal finding or raising capital or something like this, and you working with other people to put that deal together. So investors, and being the second side. Last being the operators. So the guys that swing the hammers, or the guys that are fixing the toilets or managing the property or something like that. You got to have those people, and So those are typically guys like flippers or developers, or they're managing the property, or they're running the car wash or the self storage facility. They're landlords, and what I find is these people focus on systems and processes. They focus on getting better every single day at their bidding process, at their estimating, at managing their trades. It's about leadership and things like this, right? So again, what I love about real estate is it's such a team sport, and this is a big part about moving up market. If you're kind of staying in the lane that you have, oftentimes I do see people that do that all on their own. They find the deal, they fund the deal, and they execute on the deal. Totally doable, but as you're moving up, like I say, you've got to find the who's in this scenario. So when we talk about the deal triangle, we're referring to these three sides: the deal finders, the investors, and the operators. So hopefully that's helpful. As you're putting your larger deals together, you got to think about which lane do you really add value to, and what are the other sides of this triangle that you need to put together. And there's always three sides. You can't get a deal done without having all three sides, from what I've found. So put the right people on your team, and remember that everything comes back to relationships, and real estate's a team sport.